For those of you in Nashville, in the future, if you see that we're going to have a live webinar, please come in person. We'd love to have an audience here. Come visit us, we'll give you a big hug. So, with that, Minnesota, thank you. With that, we'll get started here. As you know, I am Sandy, your host. I am your Ayurvedic ambassador for SoHum Mountain Healing Resort, and I am here today with Sneha. Sneha is actually the dean for our institute, the Ayurvedic Institute, and I'm here also with Chef Sean. This is our chef from SoHum, and we're going to be talking about all things food, nutrition, and so on and so forth. Would you mind introducing yourselves?
Sure, love it. And I will give a shout out also to Carolina, Manu. These are students. So they're awesome. They're from the Ayurvedic Institute, so it's awesome that they're dialing in. They're on their lunch break, and they're so sweet to dial in. But I, like Sandy said, dean and faculty, so I work at the Ayurvedic Institute, and I'm also a practitioner, so I work up at SoHum, seeing clients, helping to support that healing journey for the clients up at SoHum. And I love what I do. It's fun. And I work with this beautiful team, Chris, Jeremy, Sandy, everybody, and I just love it. It's so much fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So happy to have you here. Thank you for making the time.
It's a pleasure.
Sean.
And I'm Sean. I'm the executive chef at SoHum. I'm in charge of everything food and beverage there. I work with our farmer on our farm project and kind of helping provide a beautiful experience for our guests that come up to SoHum. Yeah.
The food at SoHum is amazing. We had people
awesome.
that have said that, oh my God, this is like a Michelin star kind of food and nutrition. So if you haven't been to SoHum, I highly recommend that you reach out. Please, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to be sharing this one slide with you every once in a while that has a QR code. If you wouldn't mind, if you want to learn more about our Panchakarma retreat, if you want to learn more about SoHum, pull up your phone, scan that QR code, and give us a call. No need to just be worried about whether you need to book or not. We can have a beautiful conversation with you. So we'll remove that now, and we'll talk about what we're going to be discussing today. The topic today is specifically about nutrition and how that creates an impact in our daily life from our mental, physical, and emotional state. Oftentimes, I would say for most of at least my life, I grew up thinking, oh, I gotta eat. No other relationship with it.
Most of us.
Like, oh, yeah, here's the food, here's the plate in front of you, go ahead and eat. But no other relationship. And it wasn't until I started learning about Ayurveda that I understood that the relationship with the food that we eat is way beyond just having a plate in front of you and eating it. Mm-hmm. It's from where the food or the herbs or the plants or the vegetables and the fruits were harvested or planted to the time of the day when you're eating it, how you feel emotionally, the person that cooked, what was their state? You know, now when I go to restaurants, I think, oh my God, I'm going to a restaurant, I'm going to be eating somebody else's energy.
Yep.
So that is the topic today. I want all of you to really take the concept of nutrition to the next level, and that's what we're going to be doing. So, for you that are online, just tell me, who is feeling overwhelmed, maybe scattered in your mind, tired, having a hard time going to sleep? If you wouldn't mind just raising your hand or just put it on the chat. If you're having any of these symptoms, please share with us. And again, the invitation goes to please turn in your cameras on if you are brave enough. So who's feeling any of these symptoms? The food is the best. Can't wait for Sean Cookbook. Okay. I see somebody raising your hand. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Joan. Nice to see you, my friend.
If you wouldn't mind pinging her. All right, we're unmuting you so you can share what you're feeling.
Always get inspired by the food at SoHum, of course, and come home, and then life gets in the way. I want something quick. So I want it healthy, but I want it quick. And so to actually work in the planning ahead that Sean and his group do so lovingly, can be a challenge. So I think quite frequently I'm cooking because I want to fill that hole in my stomach and get on with the rest of my life. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate you. Anyone else that want to share, how is your current state of being? Your mind, your body, your soul? Are you feeling out of balance? Are you feeling headaches? Are you feeling dry skin? Are you feeling anything? Constipation?
It's part of our human journey.
That's right.
It never stays the same. There's always something that is fluctuating at all times.
Well, the reason for that question is because there is a 100% direct correlation of how we feel and the food that we eat. And when we take that paradigm shift from thinking about food of something that we just have on the plate and we just eat it just to get us going, but we begin to understand the importance that food and nutrition has on our well-being, then we begin to change the relationship with it. It's more appreciative of it because we know the effect that it's going to have on ourselves. So we're going to start with you, Sean. If you wouldn't mind just telling us, what kind of effect would have in someone's life the energy of the person that cooks the food for you?
Certainly. I believe that, we've talked about this before, but from the ground, from who's growing the food to who's cooking it, everything that comes through, comes through. All the energy comes through the food. So I think whoever's cooking your food, it's simple. Your mama cooks some food, there's love in there, you know it, right? And I think whoever's cooking that, it comes through. So at SoHum, we have beautiful cooks, everyone's very thoughtful, there's a lot of care in what goes on there, and constantly guests are like, we feel it, we feel it, we feel it. It's obvious. And then I think there's a couple things about that like you said, you go to a restaurant, you're like, oh, I'm taking in someone else's energy and what's this gonna be? So I think it's important to obviously who cooks the food and how you are when you cook the food, how your energy is. Are you settled? Are you thoughtful? But also you have a chance when you eat the food, right? This food's coming into my body. Now I can take a moment, be thoughtful. I can be appreciative, and that also affects the energy. And I think that's, no matter where you are and who's cooking, you have that chance to kind of put the proper energy into your food also.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Nice. Almost like resetting that plate and resetting the energy that is going to go inside of you at that moment. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I completely agree. Everything is energy. When we really look at it from an Ayurvedic perspective, yes, you have all your different types of foods, right? But it's all energy at the end of the day. So what energy is coming in through the food? What energy is the person putting into the food? And then what energy are you consuming it, like Chef said? Because even if that food was, let's say, in the restaurant, there's some great restaurants out there. I'm not saying restaurants are bad by any means. But do you take a moment, right? I always tell my clients, you don't need a 3-hour lunch break just to have a nutritious, healthy meal, right? Even if you have 15 minutes, even if you have 30 minutes, but what is the intention in those 15 minutes, in those 30 minutes? Can you just pause for a minute, take a few deep breaths, say a little prayer, say a little intention, whatever that looks like, feels like, to just calm and receive the energy that you're about to receive. And I promise you, it changes it. It changes. Keep a little food journal where you do this and you don't do this. You will see differences in your digestion and how you feel afterwards.
100%. And I know different cultures do different things. So I'm curious to hear, because, for example, in Quechua culture, which is the indigenous in Peru, they actually have this practice where when they're about to eat, not only pausing and saying, talking about what you're about to receive with gratitude, but they also offer it to the land. And sometimes they either take a little bit of the drink that they're going to have and they pour it actually into the land, or they put a little bit if they're eating outdoors. Is there any practices like that you are aware of?
I've seen, sometimes like when we go back home, like back to India, usually similar. They'll have like whatever the meal is, doesn't matter. Yeah. You make a small plate of that and you actually offer it to divine first.
Yes.
So it's like you're giving grace, you're honoring that this came from divine and I'm offering it back to divine, and then you take the food yourself.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. Okay. Now, the thing here is when we feel out of balance, when we're feeling scattered or we're having symptoms, like what are some of the things that we can do through our nutrition to feel better? Because our body's talking to us. Our body's telling us, something is off, you're not treating your body correctly. So first of all, what would you say are some obvious symptoms that our nutrition is not the proper one?
Well, good thing is some people have put it in, like Carolina said, I feel scattered, right? So scattered can be mental scattered, right? Emotional scatteredness. And then physically, even within our digestion, it's irregularity, right? Scattered is what we call in Ayurveda, like more the Vata type of dosha that's being kind of aggravated there. And Vata is all about movement and it's irregular. It wants to move and push and fly and all this stuff. You can't contain Vata, my friends, right? That is its inherent job, is to move. But when it starts moving erratically, irregularly, then we start seeing this. Like sometimes I'm hungry, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I get a little gas after eating, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm constipated, sometimes I'm not, right? This type of characteristics start popping in.
Nice, yeah. And also, sometimes you just feel that, not necessarily after you eat, which it will be a very good sign of how that food or nutrition is actually affecting you right there and then. But sometimes you just feel it like over a period of time, like a week or 2 weeks or so on.
Yes.
What would you say, like, when you begin to see, like, oh, now this whole week I'm feeling heavy, I'm feeling just not having that clarity of mind. Like, how does that manifest, and what would you recommend is done to bring you back into balance?
So the beautiful part that you're doing nuance-wise, right? How's my body feeling physically, but how's my mind feeling also? Like my mental, emotional state versus my physical state. Yeah. And they can be different, my friends, right? Your mind can feel scattered, or you might have anxiety, but you feel like heavy and low energy in the body. So you can have two different things going on. So assessing what is happening and then treating each of those. And obviously through nutrition, through food, it can definitely be treated, right? We are what we eat. I never understood that, learning about food as a kid.
Yeah.
But literally we are what we eat. My mind, my mental state, my emotional state, my physical state, my hair, my nails, my skin, literally is everything I am putting in. And what am I putting in? I'm putting in energy.
Yeah, all the energy. And we should think about that as we are going through what we're eating and the energy that we're taking. Also, how the food is prepared. What condiments are going into the food, or what combination, like there is right combination and wrong combinations, believe it or not that we were trying to bring duality to this, but it's true. Like I heard Sneha say this a million times, that we shouldn't be combining milk with fruit or cheese with fruit, because that combination is no good, no bueno.
Everyone's gonna be like, why is she on this? Why am I hearing this right now?
Because this is exactly what we need to learn. This is where the paradigm shift takes place, where we appreciate our nutrition in the way that we nourish our body in a different way, right? Yeah. So let's talk about how we feel right after we eat. So what are some of the foods or meals that you would say could potentially be heavier that can make us feel a little bit more sluggish?
Yeah, certainly mismatching foods, right? So like a lot of it's about the digestion and time of digestion. So if you have like some heavy cooked like fatty squash and you're having a salad, like those might like not work together because they like digest at different times. But I think like eating in season, it's a lighter season. Again, in general, if we're eating like super fatty foods right now, it's gonna weigh you down. Sugar, like just like spikes your insulin so much, you're going to like come down from that. And I think in this season, certainly lighter, like we're starting to move towards lighter foods and lighter foods. Yeah. Again, in winter, like you need those heavy foods to kind of nourish you through the winter. But now we're looking at like summer's coming in, spring's here, summer's coming in, it's greens, it's, all these like watery vegetables are going to start to come in. And so that's kind of like what will help keep you with season, like light as the season is light also.
Yeah, and since we noticed that we have people from all over the world, we had people here sometimes, from New Zealand and from different places in Europe. So is the invitation for them to pay attention to what's growing in that season so they can eat fresh foods?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever's growing in the ground is a clear indication of what you should be eating, what's best for you. I mean, yeah, we have evolved with Mother Nature. Mother Nature is a clear indicator of what we should do,
Yeah.
So if you look out your yard and there's nothing's growing, but again, you have like winter squash that's there, like that's what you eat. If dandelions coming up like it is here, and like all these like wild greens are coming up, like that's Mother Nature is giving to you. That's like her purpose. She's giving you the answers. So it's right there for you.
Yeah. I'll share a quick little story, but years ago, before I started getting into Ayurveda, I was actually talking to my husband's daughter who lives in Colorado. And I was like, oh, I made these amazing enchiladas and I had avocado. And she goes like, oh, I would love to make that, but we don't have avocados here. And I'm like, can you just go to the grocery store and get avocados? And what she was trying to tell me is like, it's not in season.
Yeah.
It's not here the time to eat avocados. So that was a big shift for me. Like, I shouldn't be eating mangoes if mangoes are not local, or the avocado or the pineapple from Hawaii, even though they're beautiful and we love them. It's like, are you consciously and intentionally eating seasonally? So that way you can get the best energy out of that food. What are your thoughts on that?
No, as I agree, everything you're saying. And one thing I do realize is like many times students, like when we're in the classroom, or just not even students, just everyone these days, because you can just go to the grocery store and get like mango in December, right?
Right.
Because it gets imported from all around the world. So one part is amazing because the globe is, more interactive, but the other part is we don't know what's seasonal.
Yeah.
And the way I tell individuals to start looking at it is, like Sean said, Mother Nature knows what's right, right? So you will see, like right now, we're going into kapha season. Right, spring, the showers are coming, everything's starting to bloom, those type of things. So kapha season is naturally considered a heavier season, right? We start getting the the little postnasal drip in the back, right? Some people start getting spring allergies, runny nose. What's Mother Nature producing? Mother Nature is producing like dandelion greens. Mother Nature is starting to produce all the greens, right? You start seeing salads coming out on like restaurant menus and stuff. All these greens are bitter. They're light. They help to cut through the kapha. So if we eat what Mother Nature's providing us, it's going to balance us in every season.
Nice.
And we're fortunate here in Asheville. We do get like all 4 seasons, which is amazing. But I like the question that Cheryl's asking. She lives in the Caribbean, and she's like, we don't, like, it's summer all the time in the Caribbean, which is amazing. I love that, Cheryl. But do they eat light all the time? Yes, my friend, right? What is the season that is happening there? And you will get the foods that you need in that season. Guaranteed now, because of the way the world is, you're getting a lot of stuff imported in that may not be, indigenous to the Caribbean. But if it's hot and it is summer season like all the time, then you're eating towards that season.
Yeah, nice. And thank you, Cheryl, for posting that question to the chat. If any of you have any questions at any point in time during this hour that we have together, feel free to post them there. We're here to support you and help you and answer any questions that you may have. So speaking about the seasons, because both of you brought it up, and obviously we're talking about the importance of connecting with nature and being able to eat seasonally. And one thing that I noticed when I started also with the whole trajectory in Ayurveda is the importance of the seasonal changes and seasonal detoxification. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, You know, the first time I did a detox was a Panchakarma. I didn't know what I was doing. This was like, 20 years ago, right? Because of a health concern and stuff like that. And I just didn't understand it whatsoever. Now, after studying it for 2 decades, right, and experiencing it, it's beautiful. The way it is written in our classical text. So we have these seasons. During the seasons, certain energy, certain qualities build up. Like a very simple one that everyone can relate to is like summer season, it's hot, right? So heat builds up. So we're all wearing like short sleeves. Like we adjust what we wear, we adjust the climate we live in when we get into these seasons. Then it's like, why don't we adjust, our eating and our cleansing habits accordingly? So every season builds up certain qualities of that season. And then before we get into that next season, like from summer to fall, it's like I have all this heat and sharp qualities from the summertime, which we call Pitta dosha, build up. And then autumn or fall season comes in, which is more Vata dosha. If I don't cleanse the Pitta out, then it's like Pitta plus Vata starts aggravating my system.
So it accumulates.
It accumulates. So Ayurvedically, we always talk about, in theory, cleansing during like the transition of every season. So when you get to the peak of one season and as you slowly transition, you can cleanse any time in between there. So you're cleansing out that previous season's quality so it doesn't build up and accumulate into the whole thing. Like now we're getting into, like we're getting out of winter and we're getting into Kapha season. So then the next now to about another month and a half is a fantastic time to really start cleansing everything out because spring is coming to its peak. Before the summer heat starts hitting like towards end of May, June, this is a great time to do like a kapha cleanse and get all the like sludgy mucus, all that kind of stuff out of your system.
Which I'm sure a lot of us are feeling like around our chest, like maybe we got like a winter cold and we were feeling like congested and now the pollen is coming out. So we feel all of that.
That's right.
And it's important of cleansing that. And for those of you interested on signing up for our cleanse, it's actually starting, I think it's on the 11th, which is next week. So if you're interested in signing up for May. Okay.
They still have a couple weeks.
May 11th. And just message us or call us and we'll be happy to assist you on how to sign up for it. But again, it's that transition now that we're going into the changes of the season and making sure that we're treating our body properly and that we're adjusting. Let's see, we see a question here.
One was from Priya that said, what can we eat to support energy, like recovering from burnout? And Priya, my friend, you are not alone. So many people are experiencing burnout, right? And it could be for various reasons. Sometimes it could be just like you did too much on a vacation and you're burned out, right? Right. Sometimes you're just burned out from life. So things, depending on the burnout, right? Different things can happen. Low energy can happen. A lot of cortisol exhaustion can happen. A depletion can happen in the body too. So nutritive foods, what we call like that help build ojas, that help sustain energy. So simple things. Ghee, believe it or not, very nutritive.
And somebody posted there, Molly.
There you
I
go.
eat ghee sometimes, hopefully not too much. That's based on this. Good.
Yes. Dates, almonds, and then this beautiful like little date almond thing that you can do also. They're we call them like
dessert.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. If you pit the date, right, take the seed out and actually sub it for an almond in the center and then dip it into a little ghee, like melted warm ghee, and then eat it, my friends.
Delicious.
It is so nutritive. And you don't need like a bowl of them. You just need 1 or 2. Like that's how nutritive it is. Or you can make like a date shake, which is like dates and almonds. Literally simple ingredients that you can get. But these type of things really help to nourish the body and give more like sustenance and give energy. And the other big one, I would say from a lifestyle standpoint too, is if you notice if you've got like dark circles, then that means it's a good sign of like adrenal burnout, which is like that cortisol, right? Burning the candle at both ends kind of thing. Yeah. So doing things that really support your sleep and that help to nourish, because sleep is so healing also.
Nice, nice. And obviously also like Marma points, like thinking about self-abhyanga, places where you yourself can just go ahead and release that and just gently take care of yourself. I see another question from Dawn. I eat Alaska smoky salmon weekly. it's been frozen. Is it too often?
So I will say, I think salmon's fantastic, Dawn, right? It's a great way to get the omegas and all that stuff. My hesitation, I think you're smiling and laughing because I think you know what I'm going to say. My hesitation is going to be that frozen piece every week. So occasionally if something is frozen, like in Ayurveda, ideally, you know, we're not eating frozen, we're eating fresh and that kind of stuff. Occasionally you're eating a frozen thing now and then, no big deal, because your digestive tract can handle it. But this becomes a consistent thing, then it starts really impacting that digestion. So that's the piece. It's not the salmon piece, it's the frozen piece that I'm more cautious about. Does that make sense, Don?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for that question. I see another question here from Cheryl. Are you going to be around for your open day? Doing a session? I was thinking about attending. Yes, we have our Ayurvedic Institute
All of us, actually.
We'll be
open
there.
house coming up. It's on the 18th, right?
Yes.
Yes, and all of us are going to be there. So if any of you happen to be in Asheville or wanting to make a weekend in Asheville, please come visit us because we have an event that is going to be amazing. We're going to have music, presentations. Dr. Ladd is going to be signing books. So if you're around, please come visit us. We will be there. And we are happy to answer any questions. So you can pull us on the side and we can just have a beautiful conversation.
Mitesh and I will be doing a talk. Sandy will be doing a talk with some SoHum folks. And Chef will have his incredible food out there.
That's
so
right.
it is literally going to be all of us out there, Cheryl.
Absolutely, absolutely. So going back to the topic of energy, because Dawn brought frozen food to the table. So, no pun intended.
He's real and practical.
That's right, no pun intended. Nothing wrong with it, but let's go ahead and talk about energy, because the energy of processed foods, like food, and when you think about processed food, even taking a banana and put it in a blender, that means you're processing the food. So there is nothing wrong with certain kinds of processed food. But I wanted to talk about the energy within the food when we eat it. And obviously, every step on that process takes energy away from it, which means it's less prana that we are taking into the body. And when we take prana into the body, we feel more alive. And likewise, it helps us also with that nutrition reach higher levels of consciousness. Mm-hmm. Some of us that are really into the spirituality, we pay attention to what we're eating, not only because we want to feel good and we want to look good, but also our mind and our spiritual life. So what happens when something is frozen or processed? What happens to the energy that it was originally meant to be there, coming from that vegetable or that fish or whatever that may be?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's anytime you're removing that food from its source, as it continues further away from the source, it loses energy. Just like you and your intention, if you're like closer to source, or if your intention is on, like a meditative process, there's more energy in your life. So yeah, I think the closer you can get to source, the closer you can get to just being connected to your food. If it's either like, I know it's grown in my garden, I know my farmer grows it. And it comes down to, again, like we said, the energy of cooking it yourself. Like that's an energetic process of you and that food interacting. So certainly frozen food, there's lower prana, it slows your digestion. And anything canned, processed like that, like you're just, honestly, it's less food and it's more cardboard or something like that. It's like a building blocks but it's not prana. Mm-hmm. So the closer you can get to source, the better for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, Chef said the magic word, right? We're always talking about this. It's about the prana, right? Prana is life force. You guys have heard that word, but it literally is life force, right? So as that life force decreases in that food, then it's like, what am I putting in? What nutrients, what energy am I actually getting? It's cardboard. It has like nothing. There's no value in it. Why am I putting it into my body then?
Yeah. And what is the difference between something that is cooked versus something raw that you're eating? For example, salads, like you can take spinach and cook it versus eating the salad. So what is the impact on the energy and the prana there? Or
Yeah, I think, again, it depends on the season you're in. And like, I think both of them have plenty of prana, like a raw ingredient has like that energy coming right out of the ground. When you're cooking and transforming the food in certain season, you're adding, again, through this like fire, through this agni, you're adding energy back into it. So it's not, for me, and there might be certain nutrients and certain vegetables that are better cooked and some that are better raw, like spinach, you like, for the most part, want to cook. It's more that, what processes are you going through?
Okay.
Yeah, and again, eating in season. Yeah.
And one thing I think to look at is when you're cooking something, the color, right? When it's fresh, even when it's raw, that vibrancy of what it looks like. And then, you start cooking it, and all of a sudden that green is like a dull brown green, and you're like, what happened here? That is an overcooking that's happening, right? So then it's like the nutrients are actually like getting depleted from that whole thing. So then it's the reason you pick that food to eat and the nutritious value is like you just cut that all down. So not to overcook food is really important. So I don't think it's more about like cooking or not cooking, what's good or bad. Is about also not overcooking something, because otherwise the nutrient goes away. And then from an Ayurvedic side, I got to bring that in. Depends on the person, just like Chef was saying. So if someone is feeling scattered, like some of you guys said, then it's the season, right, to eat lighter stuff. But instead of eating just a raw salad, which is more light qualities that may make you more scattered, right? How do you ground it down? Maybe it's just a very light saute with a little bit of like ghee or your favorite oil or something, so it helps to still ground it down. You're still getting the nutrients, so you're not overcooking it, but it's not absolute raw.
Yeah, beautiful. Let's see, we have a question. Thank you for that. Another question from Don. Is prana the same as G?
Yes.
Yes, 100%. It's just different philosophies.
Yeah.
But they are. And prana is our energy force, and we have our own energy force within our own being. But we also intake energy force from other external sources, and one of them just happens to be food. Another one could be relationships with people that we have around us. Another one can be things that we watch, television shows, or what we listen to. So becoming a little bit more in tune as to what type of energy we are surrounding ourselves with, and not necessarily be restrictive, but more selective for sure. And the same thing happens with the food, being selective with the food that we're eating, because we're now being intentional as to what we're nourishing within ourselves. So that's the premises of it. Hopefully that answered your question, Don. Molly. So is it better to cook with flame versus electric? We had this question before, and you answered that before. Go for it, because it's a good one.
I love flame. I love fire.
Yeah.
From a cook perspective, it's easy to control. And this is like a vague thing, but from an philosophical, energetic point, like you can see the fire, you can see the energy right there. Electric's great.
Exactly.
And there might be like ecological arguments for both. I love fire. Yeah, I mean, I love cooking outside on fire. That's like one of my favorite ways to cook.
You're on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you? You like fire too?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I agree with Chef. Yeah, but it's also a preference thing. And also what's available to you, right? Because there's certain things we have to be practical and we have to be realistic also. Yeah. So I don't think it's a good or bad thing. And that's one thing I will just really admire about Ayurveda. It's never about a judgment. It's never about this is good or this is bad. It's just what's appropriate for that human being at that time in their life, essentially.
That's right. And being practical too. Yeah. Now, there is something about fire when it comes to Ayurveda related to transformation. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So we always talk about fire. We worship fire, right? Because our digestive fire, literally it's in the word, which is called agni, A-G-N-I. Agni is what allows us to digest anything we eat, right? It allows us to have the sensation of hunger. It allows the apple, the sandwich, the pizza, the salmon, whatever it is I'm eating, and actually turn into blood, bones, skin, because that's what it does. If you look at when you cook with something, right, you start off with a product, and then when you cook it with a fire, electric stove, camping, whatever it may be, then it transforms it into something else. So that's what agni is doing, and we have this throughout our entire body. And it allows us to transform this, like you're listening to something, you know, you hear the sound that's coming in, and then the transformation of that sound into comprehension, into understanding. That's also transformation. That is also agni helping to transform everything.
Yeah, and hopefully all these little tips and tricks and connections are kind of connecting the dots for you. And then every day that you go about it and future webinars that you attend and you keep learning, it really begins to transform and transcend the way that you are treating yourself, the way that you are viewing the nutrition and the food that you're eating. I see a question from Carolina asking, any cookbooks you recommend? Yes, we're writing one right now. Can you tell us about it?
I love talking about this.
Because they are in the process of writing a cookbook, which is not hot off the press yet. So.
Yeah, we haven't officially announced it, but I guess we're announcing it now.
We are.
You'll pay me later, Sneha.
Say it again, Carolina.
You'll pay me later for asking the question.
Sounds good.
Carolina's also a student, so I see Carolina all the time. Sweet,
beautiful.
Sweet, yeah, sweet human being. But we are actually, Carolina, Chef and I are actively working on a cookbook. We just started working on it. We've been talking about it, and then we actually put the stake in the ground and started working on it about a month ago.
Yeah, it's happening.
About a month ago.
It's happening.
Like different recipes, different ways to do it, bringing in Ayurveda, like the whole thing. I think it's going to be a beautiful book.
I personally cannot wait for this book because the two of them are such a great cooks and I just love it. Another thing, just to share another thing with you, is they're actually also working on spices, and these are Vata, Pitta, Kapha spices. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, these are churnas, like spice blends to support each of the doshas, and they're each one's just supported. Like the Pitta one's like cooling. There's mint and coriander in that, and there's the Kapha has some like black pepper and chili to like kind of like wake up and support Kapha. And one thing is that they're very supportive and good for you, but they're incredibly tasty, and they're built for that too. They're a culinary herb and spice that you can put on roasted vegetables. If you're eating your salmon, like that Pitta churna on the salmon would be delicious. Yeah, and I think there's something fun and easy like way to get into spicing your food. And like we love them. We use them at SoHum all the time, and yeah.
When would they be available?
They are available at SoHum next week, and then you could basically contact SoHum, and they'll be online very soon.
Beautiful. So feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to place your order and ship it to you, and you'll have your SoHum spices, Vata, Pitta, Kapha.
And they're made fresh. They're made fresh right there in the SoHum kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice. It doesn't get any fresher than that. And if you want to see how they're made, come to SoHum. Come for a Panchakarma. Now, want to circle back all the way to stability, because oftentimes we think stability actually begins in the body, but it also begins in the mind. And what happens is there is a direct correlation between our gut and our brain. It's called the gut-brain axis. And whenever we feel that we're off, that we're disconnected, that we're feeling, somebody said scattered, even depression, when we feel depressed, when we feel low energy, oftentimes is because we have not been eating properly. And we do not know that that is the correlation. We just think like, oh, it's the weather, or I had a problem with a family member and that's what is treating me like this. But reality is that the food, like I said before, is 100% correlated to how we feel and how our emotions go and process through us. So can we talk about like what we eat and when we eat and how that makes us feel in our mind, and how can we make a conscious effort to actually lift up our spirit, because we can do that through food, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, we had a guest at SoHum the other day, like we, dropped a plate and she's like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And everyone knows that like, the first thing is like what you see on the plate. And that got me thinking that like, digestion actually starts there. Like digestion actually starts, in your senses, your outward senses, and in your mind. Once you decide that I love this, I want to eat this is exciting, like you start salivating and your body's like already preparing for that. So if you've got a dish, you're like, oh, I don't really want to eat this, I'm just shoving it in my body to like build some bulk in there, then that slows the whole process down. So if you can be present, be thoughtful, be like, this is something I love that I made, a friend made, I got at a restaurant. I mean, that just like gets you going. And if you can take the moment to appreciate that and appreciate the cooking of it, then I mean, you're halfway there. You've already started, yeah.
Nice. Like, turn up the music. Start dancing while you're cooking. Just go around, peel that tomato.
It's true.
Exactly. And seriously, like thinking about the indigenous people back in the tribes, how did they do it? They went out on the fields, and as they were collecting and getting everything that they were about to cook, they were harvesting, what were they doing? It was family members, number one, grandma, mom, daughter, and they were all singing. And what does the singing do? You're pouring that energy, you're pouring that love. I love what you said at the beginning. It's like mama's cooking, right?
Yeah.
Why is mama's cooking so good? It's the love that is being poured into it. So if we are feeling at any point in time, because again, the topic today was about stability and feeling grounded, is if you're feeling at any point in time depressed, sad, congested in your mind, just pay attention to your food and look at what's happening with what you're intaking, because that is directly affecting or influencing how you're feeling. And we have the power to change that. And do you have any recommendations on some things that can be done on how to lift up?
I would say, as a very simple general rule of thumb, is opposites balance. So like if you're feeling depressed, you're feeling low energy, you're feeling heaviness, right? The exact opposite quality is lightness, right? Bringing the light quality in. So that means also just simply, even if you didn't want to change your diet, it would be eating less. That's bringing in lightness right there. Even if you didn't change anything about your ingredients or the substance that you have within your house, eat less of it. Let it digest. Give it plenty of time. This whole concept of intermittent fasting, you know, it's become like a thing now. It's been around for thousands of years in Ayurveda, right? Because it gives the body a little rest and allows it to digest, and it allows it to flush all this excess out of the system that could be causing more of that heaviness and like, you know, like that weighted blanket feeling in ourselves. So it's a really simple rule that can be just done like in your next meal.
Okay, beautiful. And likewise, the same way that we're talking about positive energy and how to lift up, let's talk about the not so positive energy, which oftentimes can be, hey, we're eating, listening to the news.
Yeah.
Or we're looking at our phone. Or we had an argument with someone in the family, or we felt stressed out during the day. How does that affect us in the food that we're eating?
Big time. And I would say, and you guys have experienced it actually, right? Just a raise of hands, like, you know, have you like about to sit down and eat and then you got some kind of phone call or some news, right? And then it's like you lost your appetite. Nothing technically has changed, like from the food, from the ingredients, all that stuff, right? It was a mental, emotional shift that just happened that all of a sudden triggers different chemical receptors and chemicals to be released that all of a sudden, bam, your hunger goes away. Everything kind of collapses, right? So your body's telling you like, no, I need to focus on this other thing. I don't need to focus on putting this pizza into my mouth right now, right? So it's real. It's a real thing. So if I am going from like, let's say an intense conversation or something like that, even 5 minutes will do the trick, right? Clear yourself. And that means whatever works for you. There's no right way. It could be just take a walk around the block, right? Get into nature. Take some deep breaths. Do a little pranayama, like breath exercises. Whatever clearing means to you, but take that pause, take that gap, clear that energy out, and you'll notice a difference in your digestion.
Yeah, you definitely do not have to intake that meal at that time.
No.
We just feel like, oh, we're in front of it. It's already been served. It's going to get cold. It's okay. Your health, and I'm talking specifically here about your mental health and your emotional health, is a lot more important than putting that meal inside of you that then is not going to be processed properly, which then by default, you're not going to get the proper vitamins and minerals into your body because the digestion process is going to be different. Your assimilation of the food that you're intaking is going to be different. So once again, just bringing mindfulness and awareness to what's going on in your environment, what's happening, right?
And I'll add just, if I do eat in a state like that, I would really recommend, especially if you're just exploring Ayurveda for the first time, like keeping a little journal. Like the times that you give yourself space and how do you feel, and the times when you don't give yourself space and how do you feel. Because the times that we don't give ourselves space, and we've all done it, it's not a good or bad thing, it's just part of being human and learning. And then you'll see the food doesn't digest as well. It just feels stuck. It's there. You may get gas, bloating, all this kind of stuff. But even longer case, which goes back to the cleansing part, we're building toxins in our body. So all those beautiful nutrients, let's say you're eating seasonally, you're eating organic, and all these beautiful, beautiful things, high prana. But if that agni is not there, then no matter what I put into my body, it is going to turn to guk. Called ama, right? And it just starts stagnating and clogging everything up. And then eventually we start feeling all the signs and symptoms that we feel.
Yeah. And since you brought up acne, let's just go ahead and clarify for those of you that are not aware or don't know what acne is, because it is that digestive fire that is important that we keep alive, and sometimes it goes dormant. Sometimes it's like sluggish, and it's because of the transitions of the seasons or because we haven't treated our body properly. So can you make some recommendations on how to ignite your digestion?
Yeah, so agni, right? That whole rule of opposites balance. So if we think of agni, right, fire, think of the qualities of fire. So likes increase. If my fire qualities are supposed to be hot, sharp, penetrating, right? That's what fire is. Then I need light qualities to bring those qualities more. So then having a little bit, simple stuff. So it's not like you got to go out and all of a sudden reorganize your pantry, but black pepper, right? Simple, simple things that can help bring a little warmth or heat into our food, or even beforehand. Having maybe 30 minutes before, having a little cup of warm water, put some black pepper in there and drink it, right? It will start igniting, very simple stuff. Having a little ginger. Ginger is hot, spicy, sharp, and fresh ginger I'm talking, right? Just one or two pieces. Put a little salt on there. Salt is heating. Put a little lime. Lime has that sour, sharp quality. And eat a couple of pieces, 15, 20 minutes before food, right? These little simple things.
Those are really good. And I'll tell you, every time I'm at SoHum, I have to have chefs ginger pickled, and the reason for I find it frustrating to peel the ginger because of all the little arms. Why don't you share with everyone? I mean, who doesn't, right? Why don't you share with us how you make it? Because he actually has an art on how he makes the ginger pickle. So share with everyone.
The simple
Spoon.
Yeah, a spoon. A spoon is the way you peel ginger. Any professional kitchen, there's not a knife, there's not a peeler. You just take a spoon and scrape the skin right off. It's very light skin. And then you cut against the grain, salt and a little lime juice, and you have a beautiful pickle.
How do you know when you're against the grain? Like you're just looking at it like a
So if it's
tree trunk?
Yeah, it's a tree trunk. It's long like this. There's strands that go along with that with that trunk. So you cut perpendicular to it. Yeah.
And you have to see the way that he makes it. He cuts them very, very thinly. And I'm so surprised that he can actually do that with the knife because he's not with a peeler that usually will become thinner. But then all you do is 20 minutes before every meal, you put it in your mouth. You can actually play with it around just to get that taste around. And then just swallow it. You'll feel the heat, but the heat building up is what really gets that acne going. We need to make sure our digestion is primed for everything. So we're getting here towards the end. I see Cheryl said that's the Caribbean way when we play music and do. I get that. I'm from Venezuela, so that's how we do it. Any other questions?
Dawn has a quick question
There you
about
go.
absorbing water, Dawn. Definitely. You can do a little bit of mineral salt or rock salt or Himalayan salt, all kind of synonymous, right? Because you get all these different minerals in it. So it's almost like a little electrolyte. And then those individuals that may have, let's say, high blood pressure, but they're feeling dry, they're feeling parched, they're feeling a little dehydrated, and they still need to absorb that water, then instead of salt, you can even do chia seeds. So that way you don't get that salt effect if you have high blood pressure. And with the chia seeds, like if you have a water bottle, like I always have my little water bottle here, you could put like a tablespoon or 2 of chia seeds in here, let it soak for like 30 minutes, keep kind of shaking it up, and then you just sip on it. It's not like you have to chug it or anything, just sipping on it.
Nice. What are your thoughts? Since you brought up the water, Dawn, thank you, because I was going to forget about asking this question about liquid. So what are your thoughts about drinking while you're having a meal? And it could be any drink, obviously, water, sodas, kombucha, whatever that may be. What are your thoughts?
So a little rabbit hole here.
Okay.
Because you can really go down this hole.
Okay.
It's not a black and white answer.
Okay.
So typically, right, in Ayurveda, usually people say you shouldn't drink while you're eating. But what does that mean, right? That means, and don't hate me for this, this is where all the students are like, why did I ask this question? That means the Coke with the ice, or the water with the ice, where you have like this much water and this much ice, right? It's talking about that type of drinking, not to have that kind of stuff. Because again, think your digestion, right? Fire. What's going to happen if I have a campfire and I just put a thing of of like ice water in it, right? Dampens it. Nothing's going to cook on that campfire. Same thing happens internally. Nothing's going to cook if I'm just dousing it with this ice cold, whatever it is, right? Whatever that substance is. So I say it's a gray area because you can, if you needed to, you could sip on like hot water, right? Some people need just a little liquid to help the food to move down just because of whatever, swallowing, whatever it is that they need. But again, like increases like. It's hot water, so you're not going to chug it, so you're not going to put the fire out. But the heat of the water will also help to stimulate some of those enzymes slowly. So that's why we say hot water. Okay. And the fun part where people do like me is I'll say like red wine, right? Yeah. For my wine drinkers. Having like a 2 to 4 ounce of red wine. Because what is wine, right? Wine has a little sharp heating quality. So if I need a little help in that digestion, again, just sipping on it, right? You heard me say 2 to 4 ounce, not the bottle.
Not 6, 8.
But red wine is also there. So it's like this little gray area when we talk about like, do I have fluids during a meal or do I not? It's not a black and white yes or no.
Yeah. And what I love is the choices that you provided. Like if you're thinking about white wine versus red wine, white wine is typically cold. Yeah. Red wine, typically you're drinking it at room temperature, which is warming. And actually when you drink the red wine, you actually feel it's a little bit heavier, it's a little bit warmer. And when you drink it, it goes down your esophagus into your stomach. You feel the warmth of it. So I guess the point is just be selective, think about it. It doesn't have to be all the time, but for the most part, if you can drink something warm, that will be more beneficial. I had a question there. Is it okay for the ginger to be taken with the peel or the skin?
I mean, yeah, I think for my opinion, it's fine. Absolutely, yeah. And there's most vegetables, like the skin actually holds a lot of nutrients. So there's there's good minerals there for sure.
Just make sure you buy organic and that you wash it off and clean it, just to make sure that you're not intaking all the pesticides or all those things that are sprayed, and that you're putting something in your body that is clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then ginger grows under the ground, right? So it's typically muddy. So just make sure you wash it really well, like Sandy's saying, if you're going to have it, and make sure it is organic. Otherwise, you're just taking in junk.
Yeah. And that goes for every fruit and vegetable. So just in general, for the most part, if you can buy organic, we know it's a little bit more expensive. So take a look at your budget, do what you can. Don't stress out over it, because if you stress out and then you eat it, then it goes, it's reverse osmosis here. But make sure that you do what you can, and then always, always, always wash your vegetables and your fruits. Okay, what was it? Okay, so we did answer that question. Well, we're getting here towards the end. Hopefully this was helpful, educational, and it helped you kind of like shift that state of mind about nutrition, how you view food, and also how food affects or helps with your state of mind, with your own stability of your mind, your body, and your soul. Hopefully after this, you will no longer see it as just a plate of food in front of you, but you're going to be more mindful. You're going to take all these tips on your everyday life. Organic is expensive, but you eat less. That's right. Exactly. Thank you for that. And then for those of you interested on learning more about Panchakarma, Chris, if you wouldn't mind sharing, we have here the QR code. Feel free to scan that, pull up your phone, give us a call. We can tell you about the upcoming cooking book. We can tell you about the spices and also help you learn more about Ayurveda and Panchakarma. And ultimately, if you want to come, book your Panchakarma with us.
And Dr. La is actually doing a very general, open, like about cleansing webinar this Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
So if it's your first time to Ayurveda, you're not sure this whole cleansing thing, because everybody's talking about this juice fast and that fast and this fast. He's going to talk it from an Ayurvedic perspective in a very general way this Saturday.
Okay, and what time is that?
That's going to be from 10 to 12 online, Eastern time, because I know people are everywhere.
Yes. So what we can do for all of you, because we are going to be sending an email with a link to the recording, we'll go ahead and add to the same email the talk with Dr. Ladd on Saturday. That way you can sign up for that as well, and you'll get more information about nutrition, cleansing, and all those good things.
And you'll be able to ask questions also. So like he opens it up for Q&A, and then you just type your question in the chat, just like what we've been doing. And I help to read off all the questions, and we just try to get to as many questions as possible. So it's a cool webinar.
You should attend. I'm going to attend. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much for attending every single month. I look forward to seeing you again next month, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye.